Alright, picture this: you're casually scrolling through your social feed late at night, half awake and half wishing you'd turned in already, when you stumble upon a photo so crisp, so stunning, you can almost smell the street food in the background or feel the fabric of the stranger's jacket. You pause, lean in closer. Something nags at your brain. Maybe the text on a billboard behind them looks a little off, or that wristwatch is at a completely impossible angle. Suddenly you realize this isn't a photograph at all. It's AI generated. And not just by any AI tool you've heard of before, it's by a new kid on the block that's already making heavyweights like Midjourney and DALL a little nervous. Meet Flux, an open source AI image model so shockingly good at creating photorealistic images that people are starting to wonder, are we hitting a point where AI images could be more believable than reality itself? For the past few years, we've watched a fierce contest unfold in the realm of AI-generated imagery. First came the pioneers, the text-to-image models that stunned us with their abilities, even if they did produce extra fingers, distorted faces, or bizarre background objects more often than not. But as time went on, these models got better. Midjourney hit the scene with dreamy, stylized visuals that made everyone's jaw drop. DALL dazzled with its conceptual versatility. Stable Diffusion brought open-source energy and a huge community of tinkerers, and Adobe Firefly jumped in, promising user-friendliness and creative ease. We thought we knew the landscape. We thought we had these big players figured out. Then Flux strode in, taking the spotlight and making us question everything all over again. Flux is an open-source AI image generator developed by a company called Black Forest Labs. While their name might sound like it belongs to a bakery specializing in decadent chocolate cakes, this team is actually composed of serious AI veterans, some formerly part of Stability AI, the same outfit behind Stable Diffusion. With that kind of pedigree, it's no wonder people have high hopes. And boy, does Flux deliver. Recently, Black Forest Labs secured a cool $31 million in financing, with major backers known for their sharp tech investments. This injection of capital isn't just a number, it's a big neon sign flashing we're here to stay and we're here to shape the future. But what really sets Flux apart? Let's dig deeper, starting with its different flavors and capabilities. One of the most intriguing aspects of Flux is that it doesn't just come in one package. Instead, you've got a veritable buffet of models, each serving a unique purpose. Number 1. Flux Pro. Consider this the luxury top-shelf version. It's designed with commercial and professional applications in mind. If you're a company looking for high-quality images to slot right into your marketing campaigns, product catalogs, or online ads, this is the model you'd be eyeing. Flux Pro aims for top-tier realism and detail, suitable for use cases where the tiniest imperfection stands out. Number 2. Flux Dev. Imagine a slightly scaled-back version of the Pro model. It's a mid-weight champion, not as resource-intensive, still powerful, and ideal for developers who want to experiment without shelling out for premium compute power. Number 3. Flux Schnell, the German word for fast, and that's exactly what this version focuses on. It's the speed demon of the bunch. While other models may take a bit of time to cook up ultra-detailed images, Schnell spits out results in around 2 to 3 seconds. Sure, maybe it's not as picture-perfect as the Pro model, but when you need something generated now, no waiting, Schnell's got your back. Having these 3 versions under one umbrella gives Flux a versatility that few competitors can match. This tiered approach ensures that a broad audience, from top-notch commercial designers to quick and dirty meme creators, can tap into Flux's capabilities. Another reason Flux is grabbing headlines: you don't need a supercomputer the size of a shipping container to run it. If you've got a decent laptop with a reasonably powerful GPU, you can actually run Flux locally. This is huge. Models like Midjourney, as incredible as they are, typically lock you into specific platforms or require heavy-duty hardware. Flux breaks down that barrier, handing everyday creators the keys to their own image generation workshop. It makes the notion of producing high-end, photorealistic content something that's no longer exclusive to big studios or well-funded startups. Now, curious hobbyists, indie developers, and small businesses can join the party. The real claim to fame for Flux, though, is its uncanny realism. We're at a moment where you can look at an image generated by Flux and honestly struggle to believe it's fake. The colors, lighting, depth of field, everything feels meticulously crafted. Pair Flux with Laura, a fine-tuning script developed by a group called X Lab, and you get results that can trick even the sharpest of eyes at first glance. Think about the implications here. Stock photography services might need to watch their backs. Why pay hefty fees or spend hours tracking down the perfect shot when you can just generate what you need? Marketers can conjure up scenes tailored perfectly to their brand in minutes. Game developers can prototype environments or characters in record time. Social media influencers could craft authentic travel photos from their couch. The possibilities are dizzying, both thrilling and somewhat unsettling. But let's not pretend Flux is flawless. If you really want to spot an AI-generated image, you can. Tiny inconsistencies still pop up, and text remains a particularly tricky area. Small lettering on a sign or a badge might look more like a glitch in the matrix than a clean font. Patterns can get strange if you look closely, like wallpaper that doesn't quite align or shapes that seem subtly melted. And skin textures, while often eerily convincing, can sometimes swing too far into the realm of plastic perfection, with everyone's pores smoothed away as if they've discovered the fountain of eternal airbrushing. These small quirks can break the illusion if you're looking for them. But let's be honest, as the technology gets better and better, how long before even these tells vanish? In Midjourney and other models have been chipping away at these imperfections with each new update, and you can bet Flux will follow the same path. If not today, then soon we might be at a point where telling reality from AI is an advanced skill. All this talk of realism inevitably leads us to the darker corners of this technology. If an AI image can fool you into thinking it's a genuine photo? What's stopping bad actors from using it to fabricate events that never happened? Fake news has long been a buzzword, but as synthetic images become indistinguishable from reality, the potential for misinformation skyrockets. Could we see a world where political propaganda uses AI images to depict rallies that never took place? Or where scammers generate evidence of products or credentials that don't exist? The stakes are high as these models improve. Society needs to have a conversation about authentication, digital watermarks, and how to maintain trust in a world where seeing is no longer believing. This isn't just a technical challenge, it's a social, ethical, and even legal one. Companies behind models like Flux will need to consider frameworks for responsible use. Regulators might step in to ensure transparency. Educational campaigns might teach people how to recognize signs of AI generation, at least in the near term. We're stepping into a new era, and the rules are still being written. If you're intrigued or maybe a little intimidated by Flux and want to try it out, here's the good news: it's not locked behind some corporate firewall. Since it's open source, you can download it and run it yourself, assuming your hardware can handle it. There's a launcher called Pinocchio, yes, spelled that way, that makes the whole process relatively painless. It's a big file, sure, and it'll take time to download, but once that's done, you're off to the races. Not ready to run it locally? No problem. Flux has already been integrated into several popular AI image platforms, making it as easy as picking a model off a menu. For example, NightCafe, a known hub for AI image creation, has folded Flux into its offerings. This means you can generate images using Flux on the fly and directly compare them to other models like Stable Diffusion 3 or Ideogram in real time. Curious about how Flux stacks up? You can see for yourself side by side without having to bounce between different websites. Another platform incorporating Flux is Poe, yes, the platform that lets you create images in a chatbot-like interface, similar to how you might interact with ChatGPT. This approach turns image generation into a conversational process. Just type in your request, and the model does the rest, spitting out an image that seems like it was snapped with a high-end camera. For developers and tinkerers, Flux is also accessible on platforms like Bass Labs, Hugging Face, and others that cater to the technical crowd. FreePic, a giant in stock imagery, is also eyeing Flux. If they bring Flux imagery into their library, it could reshape the stock photo industry. Imagine searching for a specific scene and having it generated instantly, perfectly tailored to your needs, rather than combing through pages of close-enough images. So is Flux just another novelty model to add to the ever-growing pile? Absolutely not. Its realism is already raising eyebrows. It's entering a crowded arena where Midjourney, DALL and Stable Diffusion have established themselves as major players, but Flux isn't here for a cameo, it's here for a starring role. Midjourney made waves with its painterly aesthetics and artistic flair. DALL captured imaginations with its surreal combinations and conceptual tricks. Stable Diffusion's open-source approach launched a movement of hobbyists and developers pushing the boundaries. Flux comes in as a sort of hybrid, combining the accessibility and openness of something like Stable Diffusion with the sheer realism and commercial appeal that professionals crave. It's as though Flux asked why not both, and then delivered just that. Black Forest Labs isn't stopping at still images. On their homepage, they hint at what's next: a model called Soda, a text-to-video system that's set to be open source and, they claim, state-of-the-art. The idea of generating hyper-realistic videos from text prompts has already crossed into the mainstream. OpenAI teased something like this with their video model Sora months ago, but it remains limited to a select group of testers. If Flux's team can pull off the same level of quality in video that they've achieved in images and make it open to everyone, then we're talking about a paradigm shift. High-quality AI-generated video on demand could transform entertainment, marketing, education, and yes, unfortunately, the potential for mischief and misinformation on a whole new scale. And that's all for today. If you found this deep dive into Flux and the state of AI image generation insightful, give that like button a tap and consider subscribing. Drop a comment below. Have you tried Flux yet? What do you think about a future where AI images are just as convincing as the real deal? Let's get the conversation rolling, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.